Mags. What a topic. I'm sure that by this point you've probably heard multiple times over and over how important it is to not mess up your mag. Good morning, burbs. My name is Azalaira, and I'll be explaining today exactly why having a pure 200 stat mag is very important, and of course, how to get there. So first of all, what exactly is a mag? Appearance-wise, the mag is kind of like a companion. It's just there with you all the time and then just like helping you in combat, shooting things here and there, but it's a lot more than meets the eye. Aside from their combat abilities and utility, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but instead what I'm going to explain about is how the mag stats actually do affect you as a player. While having a mag equipped, every single stat in your mag stats will actually transfer to your base stats. To put it into perspective, my level 90 fighter hunter has a base striking attack of around 1000, and said 1000 is actually including the mag's 200 stats as well. What this means is that if I do not have a striking attack mag at a pure 200 stats, my true actual striking attack stat would actually be around 800 or so. The mag is composed of basically 20% of your base stats on average. Not only just that the mag helps you equip certain weapons earlier because of the stat it provides, your base stat is also affected by external factors. Some examples are the shifter drink, your team tree or alliance tree as they call it in North America, the shifter buffs, whether it be from a techer or any casting class, and possibly more. You get the idea.
But Azul, why is your base stat more important than your actual weapon stats?
That is because these external buffs only buffs your base stats, and not your weapon stats. Let's say for example you have 1000 attack. An EX shifter drink would increase that by 50%, leaving you at 1500 attack. If you have a weapon with exactly 1000 attack and you equip it, you will have a total of 2500 attack. If the shifter drink actually affected your weapon stats as well, you'd be sitting at 3000 attack and not 2500. In the case that you do not have a 200 attack mag in this situation, and you have only 800 attack as a base, having the shifter drink and the weapon, you'd only be at 2200 attack, so you're missing 300 attack just by not having a pure mag. And with that said, this is only one external buff. There's many more. This exactly should highlight how important it is to have a pure attack mag. So now that we know how important it is, let's get to how we can get a pure attack mag. For each of the respective attack stats, they all require a different method of doing. However, all the procedures are really similar. In fact, they're just about the same. You just need different materials. The only procedure that is different is dexterity. However, we'll get to that later as it's the easiest one to do. The general gist of it is basically, you feed your mag a weapon of the respective attack type that you're going for. This will increase your attack stat and dexterity stat. And then you feed the specific rarity of furniture into it, and boom, the dexterity goes down. And that is pure mag feeding simplified explained in 12 seconds. So now let's get into the details as well as alternative methods. So for striking mags, or melee as it's called in North America, you feed it a striking weapon, which actually includes a lot of weapons including the sword, wired lances, partisan, twin daggers, double sabers, knuckles, katanas, dual blades, and the gun slash. It is after all the most abundant weapon type, so yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. What feeding a striking weapon does is it increases the striking stat of your mag, as well as the dexterity, and it also reduces the striking defense. I'll explain in a second why this is actually very relevant. So after feeding the mag the striking weapon, you see that the dexterity came up. So what this does is if you actually level your dexterity by accident, you will not be able to have a pure attack mag, and then you'll have to fix that later, because you can only have a total of 200 stats. What this means is, if you have 1 dexterity, you can only have 199 attack. While this specific example that I mentioned is really easy to fix and won't cost you a lot of resources, 5 X cubes for 1 stat to be specific, but it really can get messy if you just feed your mag random stuff, so this is why you need to be very careful. So for striking weapons, how you put the dexterity down is to use a 4-star furnishing, as it gives a small amount of striking attack and reduces your dexterity, so it balances out. Another alternative method in the case that you do not have any 4-star furnishing is you can feed it monomates. What monomates does is it reduces your dexterity and increases your striking defense. And as I've mentioned earlier, your weapon feeding decreases your striking defense, so it offsets the monomate stats that you're feeding if you're doing the alternative method as opposed to furnishing. So in summary for striking, You feed striking weapons through your mag, your striking attack and dexterity increases. So what you do next is either 1. Feed a furnishing, which reduces your dex, or 2. Feed it monomates, which also reduces your dex but increases your striking defense as well, and then feed your weapon again to reduce the striking defense while increasing the striking attack stat at the same time. And the cycle just continues over and over again until you have pure 200 striking attack. Sounds simple enough, yeah? The only thing you have to watch out for is the extra stats coming up. So just push it down when you need to and you'll be completely fine. Now let's move on to the range attack stat. You feed your mag ranged weapons, which consists of the assault rifle, launchers, twin machine guns, and the bullet bow. Definitely significantly a smaller weapon pool than the striking weapons, but no matter because they work the same anyways. The ranged weapon will increase the range attack stat as well as dexterity, just like the striking weapons. Now here's where things get a little bit different. You feed a 5-star furnishing instead of a 4-star furnishing, as the 5-star furnishing reduces your dexterity and increases your range attack, unlike the 4-star furnishing that reduces your dexterity and increases your striking attack. So be sure to watch carefully which rarity of furnishing you're feeding your mags, as the results may differ. Now for the alternative method, in the case that you do not have 5-star furnishing, you can feed your mags the die-mate. The die-mate here, much like the monomate, will decrease your dexterity, but instead, it will increase your range defense, and your ranged weapons does decrease the range defense. And that is the general loop of feeding your mag for range attack. Ranged weapons gives range attack and dexterity, use a 5-star furnishing to put the dexterity down or use a die-mate, and then just make sure your other stats does not increase. Rinse and repeat and you have a 200 pure range stat mag in no time. Now by this point you probably should understand where this is going now as you start to see the pattern. So for technique, all you have to do is feed the technique weapons, which includes the rods, taluses, the wands, the jet boots, and well, I guess you can say the tax does count. Well, it's called the harmonizer in NA, but yeah, I mean, who plays summoner anyways, right? No, I'm just kidding. All jokes aside though, there's not really many tax to begin with, so you really won't be feeding tax to begin with, so that's kind of out of the picture. Anyways, the procedure goes like this. You feed your mag the tech weapon to increase the technique attack, and of course, it also increases the dexterity, in which here, you use a 6-star furnishing to decrease the dexterity and increase your technique attack. Alternatively, you can feed it the tri-mate, which reduces your dexterity and increases your technique defense, and of course, your technique weapons does decrease the technique defense, so once again, this is a loop if you're going for the tech attack mag. And so what about the Pure DEX Mag? Well, all you have to do honestly is just feed a disc and nothing else. Yeah, like those random photon arts or technique discs that you find around the field everywhere. They increase your dexterity and dexterity only, so you really don't have to feed it anything else. It's literally the easiest mag to make. And the only mistake you can really do with it is literally feed it anything else other than disc. Now speaking of easy, there is actually one more method of feeding your mag. It's a shortcut method that can cost quite a little bit of money, but it's the fastest and safest way. And it's also literally impossible to mess up on this method as well. So what is this method? Food devices. You get a mag training devices set after you complete some of the very early ARCS missions. The set includes each of the 50 mini food devices, in which you need exactly 502 mini devices to get a mag stat to 200. You can buy more of these devices by trading in your photon spheres at the Photon Drop Shop. The shop is located on the second floor of the shop area, and the price is 2 photon spheres per 3 mini devices, which honestly is a pretty killer deal. And also, did I mention that your mag training set is actually per character? So if you have 3 characters, you can already have at least 150 of each devices. So yeah, with that, you're now armed with the knowledge to make a perfect mag. So what do you think? Not as complicated as you might think initially, right? The only other thing left for you to do is just to identify which kind of mag you'll be using for what class combinations you'll be playing. I will cover that in a different video, just so this video does not get too overwhelming. So with that, I really hope you learned something new with this video, and really helped clear up a lot of misunderstandings or any questions regarding the mags. Of course, there are other more advanced ways to actually feed your mag specifically so you can get certain evolution paths, so you can have certain abilities and whatnot, but I'm probably not going to go over those because those are quite complicated. And honestly, for an average player, you probably don't really need it, so I think it's okay. But if you're considering something like that for the future, just know that these methods do exist. Anyways, if you do still have any questions or just want to have a conversation about things, The link to my Discord server is on the screen right now and also on the description below. So with that, thank you so much for taking your time and watching this video. And as always, take care everyone, and don't forget to smile. I'll see you all sometime soon.